Okay. Are we all set, Dustin? Rosanna?
Yeah, we're all set. I
Okay.
just removed the bot, I think. So if we need meeting notes on that one, I hope I didn't mess anybody up. That bot won't be able to rejoin this meeting, if that was somebody's AI bot. So we are ready to go. Todd, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, welcome. So this is IBC Technical Advisory Group for the State Building Code Council on September 12th, 2024. Welcome, everyone, and could we please take roll?
All righty. Close down my people's participants list. There we go. All right, for the chair primary, Todd Bayreuther.
Yep, here.
Thank you. For the alternate chair, Roger Haringa.
I am here.
Thank you. For architect primary, Joe Mayo.
I'm here.
Thank you. For the alternate, Chef Fortaleza.
Present.
Thank you. And for the building official primary, Tim Woodard.
Here.
Thank you. For the alternate, Steve Belzak. Not seeing him in the attendees list here today. For fire services representative primary, Lance Dahl.
Here.
Thank you. For the cities and counties primary, Hoyt Jeter. I'm not seeing Hoyt in our guest list today. For the affordable housing representative primary, Todd Sullivan. I'm not seeing Todd in our attendees list. For general contractor developer primary, Bill Mybush.
Present, and apologies, I got to leave in about an hour.
Okay, thank you. I got a notification that Brian Horstman, our manufacturer supplier primary, will not be available today. For our structural engineer primary, Joshua Mergens.
Present.
Thank you. For the alternate, Trent Tinney. Not seeing Trent online today. For persons with disabilities or accessibility expert primary, Michael Shaw.
Here.
Thank you. For the building owner / property manager primary, Brett Conway.
Present.
Thank you. I got another notice that our general public subject matter expert primary, Michael Barth, will not be available today. For the alternate general public subject matter expert, Leah Summer. Not seeing them in the attendees list. State Enforcement Agency primary, Paul Clark.
Here.
Thank you. And for the fire protection engineer primary, Andy Leonto. And I don't see him in the attendees list here today. So we have a quorum equals 8 seats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seats represented here today. So we have a quorum present.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to be recognized?
Patrick Hanks with the Building Industry Association of Washington here.
Thank you, Patrick.
Elizabeth Torsky with Cascade Natural Gas.
Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no other. Let's move on to reviewing and approving the agenda. Can we hear a motion to approve, please?
This is Bill. I move to approve.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. Was that Josh or was that
It's Bill.
Bill? Thank you, Bill.
Second, Lansdale.
Okay, thank you, Lance. Okay, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, so approved, thank you. Item
Sorry,
3.
I was late. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is Hoyt.
Thank you, Hoyt.
Gotcha.
Okay, item 3, review and approve the minutes from August 8th. Can we hear a motion to approve, please, while we're reviewing on screen?
So moved, Lansdale.
Thank you, Lance.
Second, this is Bill.
Okay, Bill, let's take a quick scan of this. Anything, anyone propose any edits? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so approved. Would anyone from the public like to comment on something not on the agenda? Or any questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the main event. And Dustin, I think you're probably best positioned to prep us for this, please.
I certainly am. Give me one moment. I'll update the screen share. That's just our agenda. And let me minimize that and pop open that. All right, so far as of the 9th of this month, we have what you see before you as far as proposals submitted and accepted by staff. First up, we have 21 GP1-004 from Scott Douglas on section 1609.3. I believe this is on wind zones here. And let's see. Yep, basic design wind speed. I haven't had a chance to review this one fully to really speak on it. I don't believe that Scott is here in the guest room with us. So anybody have anything they'd like to talk about on this particular proposal before I move on to the next one?
Hey, Dustin, can you maybe, this is the first time we're doing this, can you maybe just kind of give us high level? We're not taking action today, but we're reviewing these, and then on what day will action by the tag happen and so forth, please.
Okay, yeah. So right now we are still in the proposal submission period. It will close on the 19th, and the council will is expected to refer these proposals back down to the tags to begin work. As part of the expected process, the tags, both the IFC and the building code tag, decided to look at the proposals as they come in just to get a little bit of a heads up on them before we can take action. So the reason we're not taking action on any proposals today is because the council technically needs to refer them back to the tags for the work. So what we're expecting here is on the 20th, a vote by the council to refer them back. And at that point, we will begin deliberation on the proposals and work on those to get them approved or denied or modified as the tag sees fit to make the recommendation up to our committees. The committees will then review the tag recommendations and then make recommendations as well, and then forward that on to the Building Code Council. And hopefully at that point, the Building Code Council will take the advice of both the tag and the committees and approve or deny proposals based on those merits. And I'll pause real quick. John, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just so a question. So will the tag be discussing these at all in any kind of detail, or do you have to wait until after they've been referred?
So today it's a fairly informal meeting today. We are not taking action on any proposals. After we go through what we've received here today, we can talk about them as much as we want, as long as we don't go over time. So as I go through them, we can talk about them then, or I can run through them all and we can rewind and talk about specific ones. It might be best to go talk about them if we have, comments on them, to talk about them as I go through the proposal in the beginning. And but no action will be taken. So if you have ideas for modifications on them, we can talk about that as well today, but we wouldn't be able to officially modify them. And so we'd be waiting until not next week, but the week after to begin the work on these.
Okay, okay, so I'm prepared to give a very high level overview of this one, the wind one, but I don't know if Roger was going to do that, or since he's got his hand up.
Okay, well, I do know that when we got this one, Roger was copied on the proposal. So Roger, you have your hand and you have the floor.
Well, I was actually going to let John probably knows a little bit more detail. I know that I believe it's the SEAW group that has been talking about making this modification. They've been anxiously awaiting the process to make sure that they got this change proposal in. So the details of it, I'm not sure. I actually raised my hand for one other item, Dustin, and that is, as we start talking about these, I do think, I'm assuming that we will notify the proponents. So, you know, if this one, for instance, Scott Douglas or John or somebody who is the proponent can speak to the tag and really clearly state why this makes sense. So that's another piece I think that I'm hoping will happen as we move into the official review of these.
Can I respond a little bit to that one if you have further comments on the proposal? So as far as notifications to proponents of proposals, I am working on getting those notifications back out to them right now. I've been working real hard to get these reviewed and as far as completeness goes, and get them in and get the products out there for you guys to review before the meetings, so that we're not putting them up the day before. And so as part of that, I have put off notifying the acceptance of proposals to the bulk of people. There's been a slew of emails kind of going out this morning. And I do believe I notified on this one today, but hopefully by the end of the week, everything that's accepted, I'll be able to have those notifications back out to folks, so that we can continue to do that, or to continue to get the input from the proponents. And then as we move forward after the council meeting and we're doing the work on these, the plan is to coordinate with the proponents here and make sure that we can try to have the proponents available at the meetings that we're going to be discussing specific proposals. So it's kind of one of my ideas is to meet after the council directs these back down to the tags to discuss how we want to go through them. It's been traditionally done in the past that they are not done in proposal number order, but by chapter order within the book, so that similar proposals can be heard at the same time. And hopefully we can coordinate with the proponents to make sure that they're available for these tag meetings as we do this. And so if a particular proposal and the proponent's not available at that time, we may push it and it might be slightly out of order as compared to the rest of the proposals on a specific chapter.
Okay, that answers my second question. And John, I've been helping Scott just in the procedural, so you probably have a better understanding if you want to give a high level overview.
Sure. Just to be clear, I'm not one of the proponents. I did comment on it with Scott, work on it a little bit on some of the language. Dustin, if you go to the next page, the one with the map, that's probably the best one to look at for this particular item. So what they're doing here is establishing what they call a special wind region, establishing the boundaries and what to design for. Right now, the ASCE 7 just designates it as special wind and kind of figure it out. So based on some studies that SEAW and some other organizations funded, they did a study and have they have a white paper out there that kind of explains the process. And I think what they did, excuse me, well, it's a white paper. It's also a report from their consultant. And this is essentially what they've come up with. To establish the boundaries as shown there. They have the latitudes and you know, for a couple places, sorry, longitude, and they're following mostly well, in a couple places they're following the county boundaries, and then it's basically later on they say what speeds to use in that area, what wind speeds. That's again just very high level. I would hope that again, when this gets up for further discussion, that Scott can probably give you a little bit more background on that.
Okay, Roger?
John, do you know, is it just wind speeds? This is not something like the special hurricane provisions that you get in, you know, Florida, where you get windborne materials and that kind of stuff. Yeah. This is just wind speeds.
There's just wind speeds, and I think if you go down to the next page, Dustin, I think that's where it gets defined. They define the table there. Yeah.
Okay.
And just a comment on the boundary there, here along the boundary, indicators number 2. That's the Olympic National Park out in that area, so there's really no buildings there. So that's that strip of land running down the coast is really the only populated area out there. And so, just a little bit more information. I live out here and or out there, I should say, and just a little bit more familiar with the map, I should say. All right. Any more on this particular proposal? And if not, I will keep on moving on to our next one.
Hey, Dustin, just as we go through these, and this is really a study session, I would call it. What is the tag expected to contribute in the recommendation? And in this case, I have questions of, is this a map that would be proposed to be embedded into the code? Is it the text here that is embedded in the code? Is it a reference to a map like we have in Tsunami?
I think
and other
that
things?
the proposal includes this particular diagram for inclusion as a figure within the body of the code, along with some text as well.
That's correct.
But Dustin, maybe John, since you've been through these before, does the tag typically participate in the code writing in the recommendation? If a proposal comes in that isn't in code language, I guess.
I'm sorry, I mean, the tag would review the proposal for the code language and things like that, just like any other proposal, I would imagine. Does the tag write that? No, I don't think necessarily. I mean, these are public, comments or proposals from the public. That the tag
I think maybe a
review.
more technical question, John and Hoyt and others that do this. Are we rewriting and massaging this to get it into proper code language and so forth?
I'll speak on that a little bit. As far as edits made by the tag, in the past, with my experience that I've seen other proposals and the revisions to those proposals, the tag can recommend the language changes, but if the proponent doesn't agree with the language change, then the proposal might die at that point. So the proponent needs to be sympathetic to any changes that the tag brings to the language. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get at is what I understood your question to be, Todd, is what modifications might the tag make to these? And I believe that the modifications can be made with the support of the proponents. And Hoyt, you might have some background on this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that it is a proponent's proposal. Okay, it's not the State Building Code Council's proposals. And in my experience, the way I understand it is if we make changes, the proponent has to agree to. We can't just make the changes. We're not rewriting the code for them. We could ask for friendly amendments, things like that. But it's based on my knowledge, and John's done this a lot longer than I have. We're not supposed to be making changes to another person's proposal unless we got agreement from it. So that's what I thought.
Yeah, I wasn't around for this portion of the work in the 2021 cycle, but looking at those documents, there's the original proposal. There are several revised proposals, and it's my understanding that those were friendly amendments supported by the proponent after discussion amongst the tag.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad I'm asking then, because I'd like to lay that out up front and on where that's defined in rulemaking and what the real bounds are. So go ahead, John. I think you want to say something.
Yeah, Todd, I would agree with you. I don't remember if it was part of the legislation last year that changed some of the working rules, operating rules. But in the past, the tag has been pretty free to make changes on their own, and they don't have to get necessarily proponents' approval of it. And it does become a tag recommendation to back to the full council or to the next committee, excuse me, to accept or not with these modifications. Otherwise, the choice is if the presumably you can do the way Dustin described. It just hasn't been the past practice. what this would mean is that the tag, if the proponent does not agree to the changes the tag is suggesting, that the tag presumably then would recommend disapproval. And there's a little piece in the legislation that I think says that if the tag does not approve it, it doesn't get to the council.
And we're talking about the SBCC bill this
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we don't have to, resolve this here, but maybe that's an asset when this is discussed at the council level, that as that gets referred back down, that we have clear direction from the council and the staff on what the tag will do, and that could be a future meeting. Okay, but today's a study session, so we'll keep going forward and trying to understand the proposals. Thank you, everyone, for entertaining that.
Todd,
Yeah,
if I
just
may,
looking-
I actually, as somebody that's on 2 tags, I believe this September meeting of the full council, when the council refers it back, particularly given the fact that we've had this legislation, and I think John brings up a good point, is I think that the council should give clear direction to the tags, what they can and can't do.
I agree.
As part of the reference. So we should make sure that's part of that discussion at the council meeting.
I agree, since the authority exists within the council.
All right, I've got a nice note on that one, and as far as the council meeting goes, the proposals portion of that one, I will make sure that when we make the motion that the clear directions given to the tag on what they can do, and I'll study up on the legislation and make sure that I have a good view on that as well before we talk about it at the council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Moving on from that one, I have a proposal from Patrick Lindblom on IBC 1901.2, 1905.1, and 1905.8 for special reinforced concrete shear walls, and it is 24 GP1-034. And Roger, you have your hand up?
I did. I just will, again, I am a little bit unclear of the details, other than I believe that it is meant to, there were some requirements for special reinforced concrete shear walls that the code adopted, that we adopted early last cycle. My understanding is that this is, and IBC 2024 included most of that, but I think that this is related to the same thing. So that's a very, I believe that they are related to those, what we approved last time, and then what IBC 2024 picked up, like they didn't pick up all of it or something. So, but again, we will need to get Patrick to help us out with that. And it isn't specifically from Patrick. I believe it may be from an EERI group or something like that. So it is one of the groups, structural groups within the state.
The Structural Engineers Association of Washington.
Okay.
Is what I put on here for the group. And then if I may, I'll read his explanation statement here, just the first paragraph. The International Building Code 2024 edition references the American Concrete Institute 318-19 as the reference standard for concrete building material. The 2019 edition of this standard introduced a number of significant changes to the seismic design of new concrete structures. Some of these changes have led to issues that are currently being revised in the subsequent versions of the ACI 318 standard. Adoption of this proposal avoids drastic changes to construction practice that would only be in effect until ACI 318-25 is adopted by the State Building Code Council. And then they go on to kind of explain a little bit more what the changes in the equations and stuff up here are. But it sounds like we've already got some stuff, just like Roger was saying, adopted, and we're trying to kind of carry that through. Anything else on this particular proposal? All right.
Dustin, this is Andy Lianto. Just wanted to let you know I joined late at 2:06. Sorry about that.
That's all right, Andy. I will pause real quick to make sure I got you labeled as here.
Steve Belzak here also. Dustin, I was a little bit late as well, but I'm present now.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Yeah, this was a date for us to be a little bit late, so sorry about that, Dustin, too. So
That's all right. We had a quorum running, so and I canceled on you guys last week because I was down with the COVID. So I just appreciate you guys showing up at all. Let's see. Moving on, I have another one probably from the Structural Engineers Association of Washington on 1905.9. One-way shear of concrete members, 24 GP1035. And I'll go ahead and read the reason statement on this one. The International Building Code 2024 edition references the ACI 31819. The 2019 edition of the standard introduced significant changes to the one-way shear design of new concrete structures. Some of these changes have led to issues that are currently being revised in the subsequent version of the 318 standard. ACI 318-25 or the ACI 318-25 committee has approved an update to sections 11.4.1.5, several other sections in there. It's a lot of dots, and this is to curtail the changes made in the 2019 edition. This proposal is to allow the use of the 318-25 edition for one-way shear design in slabs, shallow foundations, and for out-of-plane shear design in walls, including basement walls, in lieu of the 318-19 edition on that one. Does anybody have any comments on this particular proposal or want to discuss? Seeing no hands and hearing no voices, we'll move on. And that was 035. We are now on to 036. This one is from Ardell Jalla. I believe she's representing the city of Seattle on this one, or from WABO actually. And this one is for a new appendix Q. And this is for single exits. This is in relation to our legislative work that was mandated for us to do. And so this is WABO's submission for compliance with that legislation. John?
Yeah, Dustin has it. You covered some of what I was going to say just as background. My understanding, though, is that this was going to get referred to a special work group or something, a combined tag of some sort, before it gets bounced back to here.
Correct.
But this is, in response to legislation. It was a work group that WABO put together, and basically came up with this, starting with the Seattle provisions as a baseline, and then further modified those. We did some work with the Washington State Fire Marshals Association, and they are while they're not co-proponents here, we did coordinate a lot of this with them. And I think, again, we'll just leave the details for some other discussion.
Yeah.
So Dustin and John, if I understand correctly, then this proposal is getting channeled through a submission in the normal process, even though the council has the authority to simply ask for the proposal, I suppose. But regardless, this is the full proposal. It's not also getting routed through the fire tag or anything else. It's getting submitted to the IBC, since that's where it's going to end up.
Right. Well, it's so with the ad hoc group, the legislative committee indicated they were looking to do the single exits, and it's escaping me right now.
Multifamily code.
The multifamily housing code for we're going to put together an ad hoc group separately and have those two groups meet together. And I'm looking to have that tag created, not necessarily filled with or have the seats identified on that one at this council meeting as well. So that's going to be an agenda topic on there.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And I guess I was asking more. We know this proposal is out there. We know these activities happening. We just never identified as the legislative committee or the council how we were going to ask and receive that proposal as a starting point.
Right.
Okay.
Roger?
I also would say I am not sure that work needs to meet the requirements of the group one. In other words, it could go into next year, and we can finish that work. So it isn't under the same deadline as the rest of the code changes for group one.
Oh, and
believe.
Roger, your hand up has reminded me of the webinar that you forwarded out to me, and that I still need to get that out to everybody. And I just want to let this group know that there's a webinar. So I guess, Roger, would you maybe speak on it a little bit?
Yeah, I don't have the information in front of me. It actually is a webinar from a group from Canada, but it is a discussion of the single exits in the Canadian code. And I've signed up to it just to educate myself, and asked if Dustin could forward it to the IBC and the IFC tags in case other people are interested. I think it's just for an educational purposes, just to understand what what Canada's doing, and prior to maybe some of the conversations that occur here in the work that we have to do.
Yeah, I would like to say this is so. Yeah, I'd like to definitely get on that to watch that webinar. So
So when we wrap today, I'll make sure to get that out to everybody. All right, moving back to our spreadsheet. We've got one from Richard Williams.
Can I? One thing I want to ask Dustin, on some of these, I've worked, kind of with Wabo, or given input periodically, or was on some of these meetings. If any of those that I have done some work on, I don't want a conflict of interest. If you think there is, where I shouldn't be one, should I be letting you know which ones I've kind of been on some of the meetings and stuff like that? Is that something that needs to be disclosed? Or?
I guess the only question I would have is some of our ethical concerns. If you stand to profit from the adoption of a particular proposal personally, then I would like to know about it and maybe recuse yourself from votes on a specific proposal. But if it's just you've been consulting with some folks on drafting of these and you have some input, I don't think it's a major issue. And maybe we could talk about it outside of this meeting to determine which ones you're working on and look at the ethical concern on those. Roger?
Okay, just FYI, I'm working it more like with the city of Tacoma, more of just making sure it's a thing we can enforce. Whereas a building official side, there is no pay, there is no fees, there is no profits for me. I don't do design, so just letting you know that.
Okay, well, it sounds like there shouldn't be an issue, but maybe we can touch bases and just talk a little bit more in depth on it. Roger?
Yeah, I would, I agree with Dustin's comments, and let's talk about it, but I do want to make sure that we separate discussions at the tag group, in which case I think you have a whole lot of knowledge, particularly if you helped write it. So certainly participate in the discussions. The actual voting, if you needed to recuse yourself for some reason for an ethical, then let's talk with Dustin about it and do that. But so there's two different tasks. First, there's just talking about it and educating the whole tag group. And then the second part is doing an actual vote to approve or disapprove. So.
Todd?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up later, but this is a good opportunity. So Hoyt is also an example where I am going to submit a proposal in my professional capacity. And then I will obviously recuse myself at all levels. I'll technically be off the council by the time a vote comes anyway, and I'll thread that very carefully in this role as chair, but that would be one where that one is specifically for my day job, and I'm submitting it to the council for consideration. So let's just be very open about it. I'll do my best as a chair so that we get this documented properly, and we'll keep it in the public forum. So
Right.
thank you.
And as an example of something similar to that, Dave Cocott has submitted a couple proposals on behalf of the tag as part of his tag work. And then he's also submitted some on his personal behalf on as far as what he's got going on. And so just as an example, they're coming in, but you don't necessarily, like Roger said, don't be shy about talking about it. But if there's a conflict of interest, then we just need to worry about how we're voting on that. Okay, back to this one. This is 1107.2. We have a interpretation on this section coming up here tomorrow. And John, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. Just to explain this one. This is again another WABO TCD proposal. And you can, if you scroll down to section 4 there you go. Essentially, we think this is kind of an editorial cleanup mostly. I don't think we're making any drastic changes. The issue is that the 2024 IBC has sections on electrical vehicle charging stations, but the WAC 5150, the Washington State Code, actually has those in section 429, 429.4. So we're just providing the appropriate pointer and deleting the unnecessary language.
Gotcha. So tomorrow we have an interpretation coming up in our BFRW committee meeting on just this one. One of the prime questions on this particular section is the exception number 1 there accepts groups R3 occupancies from compliance with this section. And the question is, are they exempt from the 429 requirements as well? And then they're talking about vehicle space sizings, which this proposal would kind of clarify what we have in the 2021 code, but this one doesn't quite do that here. So, or it doesn't do it for the 2021 code. So the the opinion request is for the 2021 code, and similar. I think this cleans it up quite a bit, but we'll work on that one a little bit later. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned until the committee meeting tomorrow. And if you have input, I'd welcome some testimony as well. John, did you have more? Your hands? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this proposal 037? Nope. To 038 from Richard Williams on 504.4.1. And John, you have your hand up.
Back up on this one. Again, this is another WABO TCD proposal. The idea of this one is, it's again semi-editorial. It's to clean up language that's existing in the code right now. This is where the state allows an additional story of wood frame if you do all these extra things. One of them is stair pressurization. And right now, the difficulty is that there are a couple things going on. One is that the 2024 IBC only references the 2020 NEC, the National Electrical Code, but on the 2023 National Electrical Code is what's being used. And there's some differences, some changes have been made with the section numbers that are being referenced here. Essentially, this is all about what options are available to you for legally required standby for these pressurization systems. And so this is just trying to clean up the section references to the appropriate ones for the 2020 NEC, which is what's referenced out of the IBC. Hopefully there won't be too much confusion about that, because again, the 2023 NEC is also a little bit different, as I recall. So we're trying to stick with a 2020 right now because that's what's in the code. But you know, in discussions, if the tag wants to update everything to 2023, that's a different change, or slightly that'd have to be looked at. Which sections do we reference in the 2023?
Okay. Tim?
I was just going to comment that this came up during our tag meetings quite a bit, I think, where we had specific state code provisions that referenced specific years of NEC or other things. And if I remember correctly, a lot of our determination was that that was what was specifically approved. So we don't know if the proponent would have wanted the updated, say, NEC in there. So I think a change like this, you know, it sounds like it's going down the right lines of putting everybody on the same page instead of wondering what they're supposed to be complying with. So look forward to reviewing it more, but I do remember us discussing this as we were working through the tag group too.
Okay. Anyone else on this one? Right. Next one I got in from Scott Newman on IBC 1613.4, amendments to the ASCE 7. This is number 43. And now it wants to be difficult. There we go. This Scott's the chair of the Structural Engineers Association of Washington. Quite a bit here. And then reading their explanation statement. During the previous code cycle, Structural Engineers Association of Washington Earthquake Engineering Committee put forward a code amendment that would bring forward the multi-period response spectrum procedure from ASCE 7-22 into the 21 IBC with the Washington State Code amendments. This proposal both simplified complexities in the ASCE 716 and allowed use of the MPRS procedure from the ASCE 722 as a design option. The technical language of the code amendment exactly duplicates the technical language of the 7-22 to avoid differences. This change was first approved as an emergency code modification in the 2018 IBC before becoming a standard code amendment under the 2021 code. The IBC 2024 now adopts the 722 as a reference code, and the MPRS procedure is included directly. Because of this, the language of the previous code amendment should be deleted to avoid confusion due to duplicating the requirements in ASCE 722 and in the Washington State Building Code amendments. Further, the previous code amendment describes use of the MPRS as an alternative when ASCE 722 intends to make this procedure mandatory. To align with the intent of ASCE 722, language of the previous code amendment should be deleted from the Washington State Building Code amendments. Roger.
Two things. Number one, this is the one that I thought when I made the comment about the previous one that Patrick submitted, I think this is the one I was thinking of. And secondly, I believe this was flagged as part of our IBC as something that the tag was going to take care of. So I'm not sure if there has been a code proposal that has come out of the tag for this item, but I believe that they are, this kind of does the same thing. So,
yep. After we go through these received proposals, we'll kind of talk about what the tag work is, and we'll see if we like what we have in this proposal, maybe the tag doesn't have to draft a whole nother proposal as well for that section. All right.
But just to clarify, that's my memory also, Roger. We addressed this already as a tag under the
Existing amendments report.
existing amendment. Okay. Yep.
And then brings us to our last one, another amendment to ASCE 7 and 1613.4. It looks like it's just removal of the modifications to table 12.6-1. And it's probably in the same vein as what we just discussed on the last one. So the explanation statement, section 1613.4.2 modifies ASC 7-16 table 12.6-1. Excuse me. Table 12.6-1 has been removed from ASCE 7-22, which is the reference code adopted by the 24 IBC. To be consistent with the intent of the IBC 2024, the Washington State Building Code Amendment modifying the section should be removed as well. So sounds pretty much the same scenario. Any comments on this one? Does anybody want to go back and discuss any of the other proposals we have here? All right, then that will conclude us on agenda item number 5. So moving into the next one, we have just discussion of the tag work to produce proposals here. And in order to go back over that, I guess first, does anybody have any comments or questions on proposals that they're working on before we just review kind of proposal assignments? Roger.
Oh, go ahead, Josh. You probably have more detailed information than I do. At least I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Regarding the snow load, I have a couple of things. I did just send off that proposal to you folks as this meeting started. So obviously, Dustin, you haven't had a chance to look at it. But some of my questions is we're getting some kind of community engagement on it and receiving some emails with folks interested in this. And I think that's great. I wanted to make sure some folks were hoping we could send this draft proposal out them to look at, but I didn't know if that would be appropriate until after it's been accepted by you folks, or if it should be waited till it's posted, or just wanted to clarify some of those rules and make sure that fall on that correctly.
I don't think there's any issue with sharing it before it's accepted, except, if there's any modifications that need to happen, which I think that the proposals I've received from the tag so far have been coming in as appropriate and being accepted outright. So I don't see much issue with potentially sending it out before staff accepts it.
Thank you, sir. And my last question is, and maybe this is an offline question, but I can't seem to track down where we had our list of assignments. I believe I know mine, but I would love an opportunity to confirm that so I get you guys everything in a timely manner.
Gotcha. So that's part of what I'm fixing to jump into, is to review our assignments, and to make it easier to track that, I need to make another product for you guys that shows the assignments on those. For the most part, as I recall, the folks who did review on specific chapters are also mostly taking the reins on developing proposals that we identified for those sections as well. But I'm fixing to pop open the document where I have the notes there, and we can discuss it and see where we're at on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Dustin. And Roger, if I didn't cover everything, please do jump in.
Yeah, I need to step away, just go to the bathroom real quick. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Josh, I think you got everything. It's just, I wanted the whole tag to know there is a group of community members that are, engaged in going through and understanding what the best path forward is for the snow loads, including a contact for the ASCE 722 snow load chair. So the chairman of the subcommittee that developed the snow loads that are in the IBC. So I think we're going to have a good discussion about what is in the 2024 IB, what's in ASCE 722, and how that compares to the existing snow loads that we have. I wonder, and what the question that I would have for this group is, what is the best forum for that discussion? we can have that as part of the full building code tag, which I think from an OPMA perspective is probably the best, rather than having a group go off to the side and kind of work through that. But I guess I wanted comments on that. If I do think this one will be a relatively complicated one, so it may take up some time, but is this the right forum to really arrive at whether, you know, the pluses and minuses of the two snow load proposals? And sounds like John has an opinion or thoughts on that.
More of a question, I guess. Is this an SEAW proposal or is it a tag proposal? You know, if it's an SEAW proposal, I don't think it necessarily has to do all the open meeting stuff. But if
This
it's a
was a
tag
tag
proposal, then I think that might be part of the issue.
This is a tag proposal.
Yeah, it's a tag proposal. We flagged it as
I'm
a
back.
tag. Thanks, Ike. We tagged it the IBC tag, flagged this as something that needed to be addressed because it was a pretty major change with the 2024 IBC snow loads being in some cases significantly higher than the current. So it was something that we tagged as needing to be addressed.
Okay, because I guess my main concern would be the availability of you know, the chair of the subcommittee, the ASC 7 subcommittee.
Yeah.
Will his schedule meet up with the tag schedule?
Yeah.
Is my question, but obviously that's up to him to figure out, or you know, but still, yeah, I think his input would be extremely valuable on this.
And I certainly agree, and I look forward to his input, and that may affect how we, once it's referred back to the tag, revise this proposal. I'm hoping I'm understanding that process right, because last thing I want is to lock folks in when there's more good information available. I know we had reached out probably a month or two ago to SEAW and kind of started some of these conversations, and it was just a little slow to get started, and I'm very excited that we have engagement now and getting some good contacts involved, but just unfortunately some of those conversations weren't possible as of yet. And I believe recently we just saw, like you said, the head of the ASCE Snow Loads Committee is out of town, so I definitely want to hear from them and understand better where those maps were developed. But as of right now, we've sent in what the tag believes makes the most sense, but we're very interested in, you know, the broader community and other committees to weigh in, since I think this kind of flew under the radar until the tag was looking at it.
So just to throw out a thought here, it does sound very much like, you know, if this is going to be a tag proposal, then we kind of have to discuss it as a full tag to make sure that we're all on the same page. Even the working on it before it comes to the tag, it feels a little off unless we were to maybe create like let's say a sanctioned work group, if you will. I believe that we've done that in the past to kind of work through certain proposals, and maybe today at the meeting we could take action to formally kind of create that work group that works with these other proponents to create a proposal that comes back to the tag. Just a thought.
And Tim, I want to jump in with one clarification. I definitely agree with you. So we're all on the same page, though. This was not a group effort of these people. Some folks have forwarded on emails and we started getting a lot of opinions and interest, which is great. But at this moment, I was the sole proponent of the proposal.
Gotcha.
And two things. Number one, I would add getting the proposal in by the 19th so that there is a proposal that's on the table was, I felt was important. So that, you know, alternate, something different than the ASC 7 can be considered. And item number two, I think this is a particular item that we may want to schedule a one particular meeting so that we can get the chairman of the ASCE 7 subcommittee to attend ahead of time, make sure he's available, and dedicate one meeting where we focus on the snow loads.
So I have the document here pulled up and prepped to go. And we just have notes on one of our existing amendments reports with folks' names on it. And so I'll start off with the International Building Code existing amendments report, and we'll run through, and I just have everybody's name off here to the side. And so what I want to do after we're done with this meeting is produce a list that's just line item by line item, the section that we are looking for a code proposal on, and the folks who have volunteered to produce that code proposal. And I'll get that disseminated out to everybody so that it's easier to look at what we have going on to identify which proposals people are supposed to be working on. So let me share the screen. And there we go. We should be seeing the 2024 Building Code Existing Amendments report. And through have Hoyt, you were on the first couple chapters of the book. And so Hoyt, I have you down for a proposal for section 107.2.9 for non-structural components. And I also have you down for a proposal for section 202 for the definition of family home childcare.
Yep.
I have another definition for high-rise building. And then in chapter 3, I have a section 305.2.4 for family home childcare. Another one 308.5.5 for family home childcare. And then in chapter, go ahead.
Oh, as you can say, that's to meet all our state amendments that were in there previously.
Yes.
They're the same ones.
Yes. And then I have you down for section 412.7.3 for means of egress to incorporate the metric measure in there. And then I have you down for 420.2 for separation walls. And I think that will be the last one for Hoyt on that one. And the green boxes indicate that we are not expecting proposals for these ones that I'm scrolling by.
Yeah, and you're going to send that to me too, right? So I have, or did you already send it to me? I can't remember.
No,
I was on vacation.
I'll develop a list here that's more easy to read than what we have going on here.
Okay.
One. Sorry, I had a children in the house singing for me. All right. Looking further, Lance Dahl, I have you down for section 913.2.1 for fire pump rooms or protection of fire pumps.
Were some of these in chapter 9? I remember that we were going to coordinate with the fire tag too, right?
We'll be looking to coordinate with the fire tag, but they are separate codes, and so we'll be looking for a proposal, and then anything that we do on the chapters that should be correlated with the fire code, we can get input from them as well.
Okay, so they're not doing a proposal also then of the same area then?
I would have to review, but I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I don't think we are, and I am on both tags, so I can just look at both and make sure that we don't miss something.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you, Lance. Lance, I have you down for 915.1.1. We definitely have similar ones coming through for the fire code on this one. And Lance, I believe Walker Danucci is the one kind of spearheading the carbon monoxide proposals in that group.
Yep.
I have you down for 915.2.1 as well for dwelling units. That brings us to chapter 10 and 11. Twelve. So on 1402, I don't know if we have someone scheduled to do a proposal on this one. The note is review with proposals to keep or remove the amendment. So I'm not sure on this one. Does the group recall if we are supposed to be doing a proposal for this particular section or not
Well-
for weather protection?
Well, the way I understood it is someone was gonna verify if the 2024 pretty much meets what we're saying based on changes that have happened. This code proposals in there's been in a few cycles. Okay, as you can list in the thing, and 2024, it's had some changes in this and wanted to see if we're pretty much saying the same thing or if we still need that state amendment. This state amendment has been back, as you can see in the notes there, 2009, 2012, 2018. And that's why someone was going to look. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. It just see if it is something still necessary.
And so if the model code language is the same as the state amendment or the has the same regulatory effect, then we wouldn't need a proposal to remove that state amendment in here. So can I get somebody to maybe just review what we have on the state amendment side of this and compare to the 2024 sections to see if we should be removing this amendment? Any volunteers? No
I
volunteers.
guess if nobody signs up, this is Hoyt. I mean, I am a little busy with a lot of stuff, but
With the other
if
ones.
no one else, if someone else doesn't sign up, you know, I'll
This
do
is
it.
Joe. I can take a look at that. Just I'm sure you. Yeah, assign me to it. I can find it. I'll take a look.
Jump to a spot on accident.
Joe, that's what I remember in the discussion from when we talked about this. That's why I mentioned that. So that
Okay, yeah, I'll need to review and get. Don't remember this conversation specifically, but sounds
Well,
familiar.
Yeah, so I'll include this one in the list of potential proposals. Not that we would need one if we're going to strike because it's covered in the 2024. But if we can just take a quick look at that and have a stance on it.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jill. Brett Conway, I have you down for table 2902.1. I believe you've already done most of the work compiling the two tables together.
Yeah, I shipped that in yesterday or the day before.
Okay. So as we get to this meeting next week, we should have a better accounting of the rest of the proposals that we've received so far. Tim Woodard, I have you down for section 3103.1. Looks like we're looking to incorporate some new model language into the existing amendment. And that brings us to the standards and the appendices.
Hey, regrets, I have to take off, sorry.
All right, thank you, Bill. All right, so that's the end of the existing amendments review. We're now into the significant changes on that. Let me zoom it in just a little bit. Lance, same section 915.1.1. And when I get the list out there, it's not going to have duplicated sections in there. I'll just make sure we're clear on both of these reports. Joe Mayo, I have you down for significant changes in 1202.4.3.2. That we need an amendment for that section. Josh Mergens, I have you down for the snow loads. We've already kind of covered that one today. Brett Conway, I have you down for 2902.1. And that's all I have in that report. And to the IEBC existing amendments review. Josh Mergens, I have you down for 401.4.
That is correct. I will have that to you by Monday.
Okay, thank you. Tim Woodard, I have you down for 503.13, voluntary lateral force resisting system alterations. Seek to modify the existing amendment on that one.
That's correct.
Leah Summer, I have you down for 809.1 for minimum requirements. Looks like we're looking to reference both the commercial and residential energy codes instead of just one. Same for 907.1. And then I have you down as well for 1002.3 to include the new model code language in the existing amendment. And that brings us to the end of that particular report. And then Leah, I have you down for 904.1.3 in the IEBC to correlate between the IBC and IFC so that we have no conflicts there. And then the last one, Hoyt, I have you down for a proposal in chapter 16 to include the UPC standards in our reference standards section. And that is the end of what I've got going on there. Josh?
Yeah, I was just going to mention to Hoyt, he's got a lot of these going on here, and I had down on a personal list that I was working on, I believe it was section 107 regarding the importance factor. That we kind of talked about Link getting that more included in 16. So just going to offer Hoyt, unless you've already been working on that, if you need a little relief on workload, I'm happy to take that one from you.
No, if you could definitely take it. I went on vacation for a little while, so I'm still digging out of my vacation mode. So
good luck, sir. I understand that one, but yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one from you here, just because I had it on my list before, maybe mistakenly, but happy to try to take some of those off. You got a lot on your plate.
Okay, thanks.
All right. It seems, Hoyt, like you have the bulk of the work there to do. Do you need help on any of the others? And if so, I would call for some volunteers to maybe assist if Hoyt is feeling a little overburdened on that.
I mean, some of them are pretty simple. I mean, if anyone wants to, I mean, like the one with the I codes, we don't use the international plumbing code. We use the uniform plumbing code. It's just a real quick change. I mean, anybody who wants to pick anything from me, I'm fine. If they don't, then I'll just, when you send me this list, I'll just work on them and get them done. I had it scheduled pretty much all day tomorrow and for this weekend to try to get these wrapped up if I could. So.
Okay. Is there any other interest from the members here to assist Hoyt with these proposals? All right, I'm not seeing any hands and nobody's speaking up. Go ahead.
This is Brett. I'll take that easy one on the plumbing. That's where I've been living here. So I'll take care of the plumbing UBC.
Yeah, and just to say that's all. The only thing you're changing is instead of saying IPC, you're saying UPC. That's it.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Tim, you have your hand up?
I'm not sure where we're at with divvying these things up or which ones Hoyt maybe wants assistance on, but happy to take one or two more. So, Hoyt, if you get your list and you just want to ship over a couple to me, just feel free.
Oh, okay. I could do that if that's okay with you, Dustin.
That's fine with me. What I'll do is when I create the list, maybe I can forward it out to you guys first, and we'll make some modifications as far as divvying it up. And then once we get it kind of finalized, who's going to be doing what, I'll forward it out to the rest of the group.
Sounds good.
Okay. So that's all I have as far as discussing where we're at with our proposal work. Does anybody else have any comments, questions, hurdles that they're experiencing with what we have going on, or anything else to discuss?
I just want to maybe bring up, I wasn't able to attend that training you set up for our cost analysis provision that we have to include in here. Is there any quick words of wisdom you can provide to people that are providing these amendments?
So, the base that I would say is that when you open up that Office of Financial Management tool, to not let its complexity intimidate you, I gave out a kind of a flow, not a flow, but yeah, I guess a flow representation on how to use that for code proposals that aren't affected by energy usage. And so if you're having questions as you go through that, I would welcome the questions to come towards me. On another front that kind of is an easy segue for me into what I was going to talk about if nobody else had anything, is Dave Kokot with the Fire Tag has put together another cost analysis tool that is quite a bit simpler and will work for what we're trying to do here. And if you don't mind, I'll share it right now, and then I can forward it out to everybody for people to use. It would align with what we have in our code proposal forms, which, you know, they do point you to the Office of Financial Management tool, but it also says if you have an alternate means to feel free to go ahead and do that. So give me 1 second here, and I'll pull up Dave's tool, and hopefully we can get on this one and not have to use that OFM tool so much.
Yeah, that's the one that's really driving me nuts, is that cost thing, getting it to work well. So yeah, if you have another tool, that'd be great. Might make my life a little easier.
Yeah, I'm still sharing my screen. Oh, this is just to update. Oh, this is the wrong email I opened up. Man, anytime I have to try to open something while I'm in these meetings, it lags for me hard. So bear with me for a moment. Okay. Here we are. I don't have a working one to show you guys, but I have the one that Dave has filled out for us. And so you should be seeing that up here now on here. So this is the input section of the calculator that he's provided for us. What he did is he took this from a Department of Transportation site that let him download the full spreadsheet, and it's a asphalt cost estimator, and it let him fill in some fields a little bit differently. And as he's got it down here, he's got his discount rate, the base year, lets him put in the same stuff that we have in the other life cycle cost analysis. And once you do your inputs here on this page, you would click the button and it would then generate out the rest of what we got going on here. At our last meeting, he indicated the new spreadsheet that he's been working with. He's made some modifications since this one was sent to me. The generate button's no longer there, and as you fill in the fields, it just automatically populates the subsequent tables that are generated in here. So it gives us our discount factors and calendar years. I believe it runs it out to about 50 years on here, similar to the OFM lifecycle tool, and gives us total cost there. Oh, this one had more to it, so it also spits out some graphs. So I apologize, I don't have it readily available to really show here. Let's see, calculator update. See if this one works. Oh, here we go. So here's the workable one. Once you finish it all out here, so you notice that generate button is not here anymore. As you come through, it pops out the life cycle cost analysis calculations. It has a visual representation on here for the cumulative life cycle cost comparison. And then it gives out some data on the data points on the visuals. And so I've been liking this life cycle cost analysis tool better than the OFM one, mainly because it simplifies the whole form input fields, and should allow everybody to run through it with fairly simple instructions. The instructions I don't have available for it yet. I haven't made them, but I can get them prepped here pretty quick and get them out to everybody for use. And so as compared to the OFM tool, this is is greatly simplified. And so I'm looking to maybe bring this before the council and maybe have them vote on using a tool like this instead of that OFM tool. But that's not proposed for this particular council meeting coming up.
You're going to send that to us, you said? You'll send that Excel?
Yes, I'll get this
Okay.
sent to you, and I'll get some instructions for it as well, and send those as well. And this should be a lot easier than the OFM tool.
So I appreciate that, and I think this is going to work great. But just to be clear, even when there is zero cost analysis based on that submittal page, we have to include this anyway, even if it's just all zeros. Say
If it's all zero cost, and that's not in there, I don't necessarily need this one to come in if we've identified it as zero cost.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
How do you do the costs for like the one with the code change going from IPC to Uniform Employment Code? I mean, that there is no cost, right? It's just.
Yeah,
Is
that
that
one's
correct?
just an editorial. There would be
Okay.
no cost on that one.
Okay, so anytime there's an editorial change, just FYI, we just note it as that, say there's no cost because it's editorial. Okay.
Right. So you'll notice on the code proposal forms that the beginning, I believe it's item number 7. It says, is there cost associated with this? And then if the answer is yes, it says fill out A through F. And if the answer is no, then the answer is no. And so A through F would be including this life cycle cost filled out.
But even though like the Uniform Plumbing Code, the studies have shown that there are cases in there in the code different from the International Plumbing Code that it's more expensive, like AAVs, the IBC uses, but the Uniform Plumbing Code does not. Those kind of things. You
Right.
see what
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying?
so the whole point of what that particular proposal is to make it clear to users that UPC is what's adopted, not the IPC. So we're not making a change. We're just giving better guidance.
Okay, good. And I'm just using that as an example for other ones that I look at too. So that's why.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Dustin,
Anybody-
when we answer the question on 7, is there an economic impact? That specifically means a cost impact, right? If there's a
Yes.
benefit, should that be a no?
Like when you say cost reduction.
Sure, or if
Benefit?
there's a societal benefit, so forth. I mean, technically it's asking a cost impact at pretty much a project level, right?
Yes.
So it'd be no if there's some other benefit, especially societal. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
All right. That's all I have for this group today. Unless there's anything else from folks, I'll turn it off over to Todd again.
Okay, that's helpful, Dustin. Only thing I'll add while we're still on this item is going over the next few weeks. So there is what's the new acronym, Dustin?
The BFRW, so
Thank
building,
you.
fire, residential, and wildland urban interface. And then there's the MVPE committee. So those are
Okay.
both happening tomorrow.
But those 2 committees will not be dealing with any of the proposals obviously yet. It has to pass through next week through the council back down to the committees, and the committees technically kick it out to the tags, if I understand it correctly.
I'm understanding that the council is going to go direct to the tags and then it works its way back up.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so in those committee meetings, we won't talk about any of this. We won't talk about necessarily rules or the new legislation or anything like that. That'll all be done next week, next Friday at the council.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
and
thank you.
That's in Spokane. For those who might want to attend in person.
Please come visit. Okay, with that, we'll close that out. I don't see an agenda item here for any other business, but I'll still ask for it. Did anyone have anything to raise? Okay, if not, then thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.